to be sure that the Darlie supporters are aware of the people that are representing Darlie Routier. We have the self-proclaimed private investigator who's not licensed in any state at all, who claims that she's an expert. She has said on Reddit, I am an expert in the Darlie Routier case. I brought that up here. Go see Hell Your Selfie on Reddit. So what I want to do is do what I do best, the supporter slayer, right here.
There's only one man.
And a Sully KTR.
Trisha Daniels, I agree she is innocent. That scar across your neck is still visible after all this time. Haven't listened, but I hope Derek talks about the two main investigators pleading the fifth, and how many people involved in the investigation did not testify. But they let Glenn Mai's daughter testify as a minor after her parents divorced because Darlie told the mom about the affair with Beja. The trial was so biased. Beja testimony as well. If all these people thought she was capable of killing her kids, why was everyone and all those people and neighbor kids around the house all the time? They were with her when they took her generous donations and mortgage payments. She provided others when in need.
Okay.
Stop it.
I do what I have.
Get some help.
I kill these lies. Let me respond.
The supporter slayer.
Sully, KTR, private investigator, mortician, medical field, mental health field. You are just a jack of all trades, ain't you? Or you're just a jackass of no trade. Anyway, I agree she is innocent. Well, that's a true and fair statement. You do agree she's innocent. That scar across her neck is still visible after all this time. Yeah. What, do you expect it to miraculously disappear? She did that to herself. It's a minimal scar. She didn't hit her breast or her face or anything like that. She did that to her neck. Haven't listened, but I hope Derek talks about the two main investigators pleading the fifth. Okay. I wish they would have too, because they would have seen clearly that it was suggested to them by the judge to take the fifth after Doug Mulder said, well, you're going to go to jail for that. The judge suggested they take the fifth on that. And that's why Doug Mulder did that, because years later, his tactic is still working. Because we still have people going, the two main investigators pleading the fifth. Okay, here's the thing. They only pled the fifth on that subject, and it's in the transcript. The judge made it clear that they could question them about anything but the surveillance. So what's wrong with them taking the fifth on that when they're accused of a crime? Everybody, American, has a right to do that, dumbass. And the reason, now they could have questioned Jimmy Patterson and Chris Frost further, but the defense couldn't question. What were they going to question him about? That their fucking client is guilty as hell? What are they going to question him about? What did he do wrong? They had nothing to question him about, but they wanted to put that room sensationalism. They tried to plant that seed. That seed that's still growing in your fucking head after 29 years, Miss Expert. And how many people involved in an investigation did not testify? Well, they're not going to bring each and every first responder or every nurse. You know, they don't have to do that. But the defense can call whoever they would like to, so they could cross-examine them. And then they could show them how that they did such a shitty job with bad cameras and all that stuff, if that was appropriate, right? But the defense didn't do that. The defense didn't call David Neighbors. The defense didn't do that. There was a lot that they didn't. You call who you want. Why didn't they call Dana, who on the Lisa Gibbons show, when asked, what was your sister's state of mind that night, could only look down at the ground and cry. And then she was removed from the show. Why didn't she testify? But they let Glenn Mai's daughter testify as a minor, after her parents divorced because Darlie told the mom about the affair with Beja. The trial was so very biased. Well, had you read the testimony, you would know that Glenn Mize and his wife, Allison Henny's mother, were married for 7 years, and she said, quote, they've always had problems in their marriage. The reason that they got a divorce is because he beat her. That's right in the testimony. Had nothing to do with Darlie. I spoke to Beja personally. She said she didn't mess with Glenn Mize. She said that Glenn Mize hit on her, and she told the wife on him. That's what she told me. And you got to understand this. What reason does Beja have to lie? And you can listen to me ask her the question. She didn't have to think about it. It was just right there on the top of her tongue. She said no, she didn't sleep with Glenn Mize. She wasn't messing with Glenn Mize. She said Glenn Mize got inappropriate with her at Tesneek, and she told the mother. Beja's testimony was as well. What was biased about it? She answered the questions that she was given. If all these people that thought that she was capable of killing her kids, why was everyone and all these people and the neighborhood kids at the house all the time? Well, they weren't at the house all the time, see? They keep calling this the Nintendo house and that there were kids around all the time, but there's no pictures. And as far as people wanting to be around, if you hear me talking to Beja said that she started to quit going around over there because it was getting wild. She knew something was going on in the house, and she started to back away from Darlie. Now, here's this dumbass statement. They were with her when they took her generous donations and mortgage payments she provided when others were in need. The one that she paid the mortgage to was Karen Neal. Karen Neal testified for Darlie. She lived right across the street. She had cancer, and Darlie took Darren's money because he was the hard earner. He was the one that raised up a company, not her, and paid for Karen's mortgage at one point. You really are an idiot. You need to go back to Allison Hennessy's testimony. You need to read the testimony where the neighbor girl was talking about how Darlie used to pass out cigarettes and marijuana and Zimas to underage people, while you're talking about as a minor. You're a fucking idiot, Sully. I hope that the people in the support camp know how silly that you make Darlie look with shit like this. This is all speculation, every bit of that. Oh yeah, because Beja was sleeping with the guy. No, she wasn't. I talked to Beja myself. I believe Beja. You come off, your first thing is false. Now, private investigator, you're fraud. Darlie would be so proud of you. So why don't you write to her later on and tell her about how you told all the subs about Beja sleeping with Glenn Mize. That's not what happened. Anyway.
What the fuck? They know